In lesson 1, we are doing properties of radical exponents. In the first section, we are solving the equation. Round your answer to 2 decimal places. So for this one, we are going to divide by 2. During these steps, we're trying to get x by itself. So to get rid of the exponent 4, we're taking the fourth root of both sides. So when we put the fourth root of 81 into our calculator, we get x equals 3. Now for number 2, again, the whole parentheses is being raised to the third power. So we want to get rid of our third power, so we can simply add this 2 to both sides. So first, take the third root of both sides, and you get approximately 2.15, and so on and so forth. And you're going to add 2 to both sides, so your x ends up being approximately 4.15. Now pause the video and attempt these 3 problems. Your answers should have looked something like this. Now for the next section, you're trying to express the term that's given into radical form. So your denominator is going on the outside of the radical. That's going to be how many roots you're going to take. And your numerator stays in the exponent with your base. So simplifying, our 1 is understood. Our 2 is also understood. If there is no number on the outside of your radical, it is square root. For number 2, you want to take your denominator and take it on the outside of the radical, and then your numerator stays in the exponent by itself. So you have the third root of 4 to the 4th. You can simplify the 4 to the 4th to 256. And right now you don't want to simplify this anymore because you would get an ugly decimal. For number 3, your denominator goes on the outside and your 5 stays in the exponent. So pause the video and attempt these 3 problems. Your answers should have been similar to this. Now for the next section, we are expressing it in exponential form. So kind of reverse from what we did at last section. We want to take the outside number and put it in the denominator of our exponent of our base number in the inside. So we have this understood 1 in the exponent, and we're going to take our 6 and put it in our denominator and our 1 in our numerator. And that's how we are going to express it. Now the square root of 10 raised to the third, you've got to deal with what's in the parentheses first. So we're going to have our 2 placed in our denominator and our 1 stays in our numerator. Now when a power is raised to a power, we multiply. So we're going to have 3 times 1/2, which gives us 3/2, and our 10 stays the same. Now for 3, we're going to deal with the inside first. So we're going to have 2 raised to the 1/4 power, and then we're going to multiply that 1/4 by 3, so we get 3/4. So our 2 is raised to 3/4. Pause the video and try these 3. Your answer should have been similar to this. Now in this example, we are trying to express in radical form. So we want to end up with our radical and however many roots we're taking. So we're going to distribute that negative 5 over 4 to each of our exponents. Because each of our exponents was negative, they came to the denominator. And then both of my exponents have a denominator of 4, so our 4 came on the outside of the radical, and our 5s that stayed in our exponents. Now simplifying 5 to the 5th, we have 25x to the 5th, and we cannot simplify anymore. So pause the video and you try. Your answer should have been similar to this. So the next section, we are expressing in exponential form. So we have our inside of our parentheses, and then we're going to deal with the 3. So we have x to the 1/4 power, and then we're going to multiply that 1/4 by 3 because we have a power to a power. So we're left with x to the 3 over 4 power. For the second one, again, dealing with the inside first. So our 3 was on the outside of our radical, so it comes in as our denominator in our exponents. And then we're going to take it 4 times our 1/3. So now we have 6 to the 4/3 power and x to the 4 over 3 power. Right now we don't want to simplify this because we don't want any ugly numbers. Pause the video and you try the following. You should have got something similar to these. Now in this one we're simplifying. Remember, when we're multiplying, we're adding our exponents. So we have 1/2 plus 3/2, so we get 2. So our bases stay the same. So we have a 3 to the 2nd, which is 9. For this one, we're adding our exponents, which we get 3/4. We have a 5 to the 3/4 power. Once we get here, because this is a fraction, we put our 4 on the outside of our radical, and our 3 stays in our numerator, so it stays as the exponent. Simplifying our 5 to the 3rd, we have 125, and our radical stays to the 4th root. For number 3, again, we're adding. Once we get here, we're going to put it in radical form. So our denominator comes outside, our 5 stays inside to our power. And we simplify 6 to the 5th by having 7,776. And then there's our answer. Pause the video and try the remaining ones. You should have gotten something similar to this. Now in the last section, we are solving for our radical equations. So we want to get x by itself. So we're going to cube both sides to get rid of this 3rd root. So we're left with negative 3 to the 3rd power, which gives us negative 27. So our answer is negative 27. For this one, again, we're trying to get rid of this cube root. So we're going to cube both sides and get rid of that cube root. So then we have 2x plus 3 minus 8, which happens when we have negative 2 to the third power. And then simplifying this, we can put either negative 11 over 2 or negative 5.5. Now pause the video and try the following. Your answers should look similar to mine.